It was last summer, last July the 7th, a date that will permanently be ingrained in my memory forever, I suspect. Went for blood tests that morning, was called by the doctor in that afternoon to tell me I had irregular blood results. Already started to panic. I'd done my own Googling. That evening about 8:30 I was called by a consultant haematologist and admitted to hospital. And then I spent the best part of 7 months in hospital, essentially fighting for my life and being treated for acute myeloid leukemia.
I actually wasn't around. I was preparing to be best man the next day when it was all unravelling. And then, I knew Jen had some, she'd been keeping me updated, but then to suddenly get a phone call at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night and be put through to the doctor to explain what was going on, and then have your best mate drive you back to Birmingham to the hospital for it all to unravel it was pretty devastating, sort of 24 hours. And then from there it was just, a whirlwind of 7 crazy months, really.
It's a day I'll never forget. Our worlds were turned upside down for what was already quite a perfect life, and then all of a sudden found out that without chemotherapy and within a few days I probably had about a week left to live because the leukemia had just taken over all of my blood cells. So it was a pretty horrific day which I'll never forget. So one day, a lot can happen in one day. Hi, so it's Thursday the 14th of September. I have been in here now since Tuesday the 15th of August. Fed up. The type of leukemia that I had generally affects men over 65. I was a 33-year-old woman, and the thing I said on my Just Giving page, etc., is it's always someone else until it's you, and that was the case. So you always think it's going to be someone else, and it was me, and it was us and our lives that were turned upside down. You just never know.
I guess I'm naturally quite calm and I coped, but it was coping and surviving in a different way, but just trying to keep the wheels going and keep everything happening, and just trying to keep constantly buying food,
he kept
telling me, hospital and
telling me I wasn't going to die and buy me brownies. He was amazing, and I couldn't have done it without him. The amount of panic attacks I had, and having Matt and my parents there all the time, constant panic attacks, nosebleeds, ear bleeds, fainting. He was permanently there holding my hand, holding my compress when my nose wouldn't stop bleeding for hours. And Matt lived every moment of it with me.
Yeah.
We didn't want to meet other patients, did we? Because so often the emergency buzzer would go off, you'd hear it in the ward, someone would come and close your curtain because unfortunately they'd have to wheel somebody away that hadn't made it. And I was so scared to get close to somebody only to then see them go. And I know through other patients that did happen. And so that was self-preservation. That's how I got through it. I didn't make friends with anybody on the ward because I didn't want to lose anybody. And I needed to stay strong to tell myself that I was going to live and I was going to get through it. And so that is the only way we did it. We didn't befriend anybody else. We just got on with it and just took each day as it came. I'm still not cured. We won't know I've been cured for a long time. So to find out I was in remission was brilliant. But for me, it's a much longer journey. For us, it's a much longer journey because the reality is I've got this massive dark cloud over my head. I could relapse at any point, and a significant number of patients that go into remission for blood cancer do relapse. And so it's not the end yet, and it's not yet the time for that big celebration party. And it won't be for a good few years to come. And I have to have incredibly painful bone marrow biopsies every 3 months to check that I haven't relapsed. And they're pretty horrific. Matt's always there holding my hand, or I'm squeezing your hand.
But the pros, I guess it's not like you see on TV. The treatment doesn't just end and then it's like, you're cured, or you're fine. It's not like there's a problem, they can cut it out with blood cancer. It's coursing through your veins quite literally. I guess the real key moment is going to be when the doctor says,
I'm cured.
We don't need to we don't need to test your bone marrow anymore because it's fixed.
That day isn't yet there, but when that day comes, when I'm told that no more bone marrow biopsies, and as far as they're concerned, I'm cured, that will be...
And there's been lots of little...
I'm expecting lots of presents on that day. please, please, please do donate a day's salary. You know, it's one day out of your whole working year. You know, it could make such a difference. If everybody at Deutsche Bank did it, it would make such a difference to the lives of so many blood cancer patients out there. And it is just one day. And, you know, you might think that, you know, this is just another horrible disease out there that will never affect you. And hopefully it won't ever affect you. But, you know, I thought that. I didn't think it would ever affect me. I was a young, fit 33-year-old, and it did. And I had a career, was working full-time every day at KPMG as a solicitor. And my whole life was turned upside down when I was diagnosed with blood cancer. And I really hope that it never affects any of you and that cancer doesn't. But the reality is, the statistics are that it does affect so many people. And we need to raise as much money as we can through charities like Cure Leukemia to try and just eradicate this horrific disease. And you can really make a difference by doing that and donating a day's salary. So please, please do it.
Your donation contributes to the work of a brilliant network of scientists and doctors that are doing everything they can to, first and foremost, treat people who've got it and make sure that they're here for the long term, but also to try and figure out why they're getting it and stop people getting it. And I can say personally, like, nobody wants that experience of finding out that it's going on. So just put your hand in your pocket and give your day's salary up. It's no better way to spend it.